Hi, my name is James Nielsen. This is for FTH223. This is my week 5 assignment, and today's date is May 25th, 2025. Before I get started, I'd like to say that there is no live ammunition present on my workbench or in my work area, and I'll go ahead and show that our SAR B6 here is clear. So there's no magazine in our magazine well, and we have no ammunition in our chamber. This firearm is clear and safe. So last week's assignment, we went through the trigger components on this firearm, and we smoothed everything out, we polished everything up, and we also installed some reduced power springs, which completely changed the feel of the trigger and the way the gun feels. But there's still a few other things that we can do to kind of smooth things out with the action components. And as you can see here, I do already have the barrel polished, which we'll talk about here in a second. But I also have my hammer polished, which is also, we can talk about here in a second. But I'm gonna go ahead and just field strip this thing, and we'll get into it. All right, so like I said, I already have polished the hammer face because I polished up all the external components of the firearm here. As you can see, all kind of polished up. And so that right there already is going to give me a smoother surface to ride along the bottom of our slide here and on our firing pin. So this is going to be an area that I really want to kind of smooth out. And it is already pretty smooth, considering I've been dry firing the crap out of this thing, racking the slide all kinds of times. So the face of this firing pin stop is actually almost mirror polished already, but you can actually see that it's wearing on the outsides of it. So it means there's a little bit of a low spot in the center. So maybe we could smooth that thing out, polish it up, make it really nice and smooth, and it might help things out a bit. And then along the bottom here, the hammer's going to drag, which is actually leaving drag marks on the hammer, so we can maybe just smooth things out a little bit here. And then next thing that we'd want to do, which I already did it, would be to polish up this barrel. And you can actually, if I bring you in close, you can see some of where the wear marks are on a barrel. And if you look on the inside of the slide, which I'll bring the camera in here in a second, and we can kind of see where there's points that the barrel actually interacts on the inside of the slide. So polishing the barrel to a mirror finish like this is going to really reduce any drag it has inside that slide. Now, as you can see, I also did not polish the locking lug surfaces or the link surfaces, but that stuff, you could kind of smooth things out a little bit there, but to be honest, the gun feels really good already, and I'm not going to really mess with it. So that's all I did on that. And then another surface on the barrel, it would be the feed ramp. This does kind of come with a factory polish on it already, so I'm probably not going to address that unless I run into some feeding issues later down the road. But some other surfaces that we could take a look at would be the breech face, which it's pretty smooth. I'm probably not going to mess with it. And then also we could polish up our extractor face. And I actually might pop this out and polish it up like I have with all the other external components. With that said, I'm not going to actually apply any layout dye on this because I can already see where the wear marks are. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my stone and some oil, and I'm just going to lightly polish that up. I'll probably pop this firing pin stop out, and polish it up, polish up the bottom of the slide here. And that'll probably be all I'm really going to do on this. Another thing I want to mention is your guide rod does come shiny, but if you take some flits and actually polish it up, it makes it extra smooth, which is another thing I did on this, just to reduce the friction of the guide rod inside that spring. That's another thing that you can even do just to make things a little bit smoother. And then another thing that I'm not going to do, because I just let time take care of any grittiness in the slide, but I've been racking the crap out of this thing, and it actually feels pretty good. But you could if running that in there, it is a little, I don't know, it doesn't feel that bad to me. So you give this thing some time, it's going to be super buttery smooth. I'm going to bring the camera in closer. I'll let you get a little bit closer look at some of these wear points. Then I'm going to cut you off, polish things up, and be back with you with the gun all reassembled. All right, so I wanted to bring you guys a little bit closer here before I polish things up, just to give you a look at how this looks here. And you can see that wear line there, where it's a little bit shinier, as well as on this firing pin stop. I don't know if I can get it really clear, but you can see how the two sides, or each side is a little bit mirror polished, and the center still has a little black in there. So we're gonna smooth that out here. So let's take a look inside here. And you can kind of just, maybe the flashlight's kind of messing with it, but you can actually see where the barrel slides across that slide inside there. If you kind of see those wear marks. And then I don't know, well, you can probably see it on there. You can see on the hammer there, you can see those two drag marks. So we could possibly even stone the front of this hammer a little bit more. I only polished it. I didn't really like stone it or smooth it out. It's just polished, but it is a lot smoother than it is from the factory. So I might address that a little bit more too. With that said, I'm gonna get things polished up here, and I'll be back with you guys here in a minute. All right, I'm back. I polished up those couple of components. Get that to focus here. I don't know if it will. You can already tell how shiny that is. So that's our firing pin stop. I did go ahead and just stone just that face of the hammer where it kind of just contacts the firing pin. And then I also polished it up. So it does look quite a bit shinier there. You can see that you can't really see those wear lines anymore. And then the bottom of our slide here, I just lightly stoned that and then just gave it a nice polish with some flits and the Dremel. But get that to focus here a little bit better. Look how nice and shiny that is. And my cat's about to come steal some parts too. I'm back after polishing up those couple of components, and we'll go ahead and show clear here. Still have no magazine in our magazine well and no round in the chamber. So this firearm is clear and safe. And this thing was already pretty smooth before, but I honestly feel like I can feel a slight difference in resistance between the slide coming back across that hammer now. It actually feels a little bit smoother. But man, this thing feels really good. Last part of this assignment is, would I feel comfortable doing this? Absolutely. Like if I was tasked to do this in a gun shop, if I was running my own shop and somebody asked me to do these things, I would absolutely be happy to do it for them. I feel like the trigger work doesn't need to be as scary as everyone makes it out to be. You barely even need to touch on the sear angles or anything like that to really smooth things out. And I feel like you could smooth everything out and leave the sear angles completely untouched and still have a really great feeling firearm and feel confident and safe that you're giving a safe gun back to a customer. But like I said, even with that light touch, I didn't alter any geometry. You always just want to use finesse every time you're doing anything with polishing, sear surfaces, hammers, anything like that. But with that said, man, I love this gun. I can't wait to shoot it. I have not been out to shoot it yet. I'm super excited for it. I did not take the extractor out and polish it up. I might do that at a later date, but for now, I'm really digging this thing, and that's all I have for you. Thanks for watching.